Oh, yeah.
Saturday, March 30th.
Let's go.
Fans, please give a warm welcome to our visiting team, the Seattle Tempest. Seattle Tempest, number 0, Icarus Elby.
And welcome to beautiful Oakland, California, Fremont High School for the home opener of the Bay Area Falcons taking on Seattle Tempest in Week 2 of the 2024 Western Ultimate League season. I am Jenna Weiner here with Lawrence McKendall. Lawrence, we are back for another season of Falcons Ultimate, another beautiful, beautiful day in the Bay Area.
Another exciting season of Falcons Ultimate. Yes, and a beautiful day as well. Absolutely, completely agree.
And both teams getting ready to start here. A little bit breezy weather, a little cool, but not too bad conditions. Certainly not what the Falcons were facing down last week when they went up against Utah Wild at altitude in rainy, windy conditions. Took a 2-point loss there, 19-17 in overtime. Seattle also trying to bounce back after a 2-point loss of their own to San Diego Super Bloom at home in Seattle. So Tempest on the road, Falcons back at home. Thoughts looking ahead to this game with both teams coming in with no wins, 1 loss, trying to get that first one on the board?
Well, general observation is you've got sort of contrasting styles. Falcons, very grindy, very measured in their attack. Tempest, it's a boost fest. They like to go quick, down the field, and attack early and often. We're going to see how that goes, and I'm curious to see how it plays out.
Tempest getting introduced now, and to your point, looking back to the stats of last week's close game between Super Bloom and Tempest, Seattle only good for 3 of 19 on their break opportunities, but 10 for 17 on their hug chances. They're going to want to look to convert more from their D-line, but keep up that efficiency on those away throws. As for the Falcons, sort of similar situation in terms of fairly high completion percentage when it came to their hugs, but not very efficient in the red zone, only 37%, and it was a very even game until at the very end when Utah pulled away in overtime.
That game was really interesting. Talking to Coach Dariani, you had this desert of a third quarter that really set the stage. Things were very back and forth, very grindy, and all of a sudden, I think during that time, Utah got their legs, figured things out, and really started to make a push in the fourth quarter. But it's interesting looking at the stats in the red zone. Very revealing.
Yeah, and actually the Falcons did have a 15-11 lead late in that game before giving up a 4-goal run that allowed Wild back into the game. Falcons, first week of the season, just sort of starting to lose their momentum at altitude in the later stages of that game. But back much closer to sea level this time around, and with many of the same players that led them to success when they did have that 15-11 lead last week. In particular, highlight Han Chen, a.k.a. Heist. 5 assists, over 450 throwing yards last week against Utah. Chen will be look to get very involved. Once again, you can see her crossing in front of the line now as the Falcons players all get introduced.
Yeah, Han Chen stirs the drink. Everything goes through her, and it's very exciting. She can put it up deep. It's almost like thunder and lightning. She definitely can put it deep to different people who are cutting deep. Allison Suji was definitely one of those people who was definitely greeted with those big deep puts from Han Chen. I'm curious to see if that connection, thunder and lightning, connects here today.
As for Tempest, the noted depth of Seattle came through once again. Only 15 points scored against San Diego. And with their stats leaders maxing out at 2 in goals, assists, or blocks, Chung the best in the plus and minus that at 4 overall with a goal, 2 assists, and a block. Chung back out here again for Seattle.
You were looking at those stats earlier, and you made an interesting observation about that. What was your observation looking at the stats with the Tempest?
I think the curious thing is for the 2-time defending champions, they've had quite a bit of turnover from those title-winning teams. A number of players leaving, some other players joining from the depth of the Seattle Ultimate scene. And I'm not surprised that they were pretty even across the board statistically. The only 15 points scored is a little bit surprising, but then again, they're playing against now. Maybe we can talk about this, the potential league title favorites in San Diego Super Bloom. So will we see more offense from Seattle now that they aren't having to go against that top-tier Super Bloom team?
That's going to be interesting, absolutely. With the windy conditions, I would not be surprised if we see a lot of zone, at least some hybrid looks.
We shall see indeed. Captains chatting, presumably thoughts of which way to take the wind on their mind as well. Quick weather check in from where we're at. Sunset not for a while, so we'll have plenty of sunshine for a bit. Currently around 60 degrees and just a bit breezy. 10, 15 mile an hour winds, enough to make it sort of testy, but plenty of excellent throws here that will manage the conditions well.
Yeah, I think if you're looking at the flags when they are moving, they're going across the field from the parking lot towards the booth. So we'll see how that impacts the trajectory of the disc during the game.
We shall see, and let's talk about the rules and the wind and all these sorts of things that will affect how the game plays out. For those of you who may be watching a Western Ultimate League game for the first time, welcome. We're glad to have you. The field is 80 by 40 with 20-yard end zones. We have quarters here, 12 minutes long each, and the clock stops when points are scored, except in the very end of the quarters when the clock will stop for every call. Notably, end of quarter situation, it is possession rules. That is, whichever team has the disc, when the clock hits 0, is allowed to finish out the possession, whether to a goal or a turnover. Notably, in the game against Utah last weekend, in the first quarter, Utah gave the disc away with just a moment or two left on the clock. Falcons were able to capitalize. Obviously, didn't end up helping them in the long run as they went on to lose that game. But something to keep an eye on is the efficiency at the end of the quarters. Who is going to win the first, second, and third quarters that will set them up for success later. And teams have timeouts and can fully sub the players who are on the field when called for. Lawrence, any other rules, notes that you think folks at home should know?
Well, if anybody out there has played Ultimate, it's usually a 10-second stall count. The 7-second stall count can definitely hasten the game. It makes it very more interesting, but it really can impact the defense if they're going to be pressuring the handler stacks. There's quicker decisions need to be made. The disc needs to be moved quicker. So that can really dictate play, that 7-second stall count.
Notably, the folks in the middle of the field in bright orange are observers. Very much appreciate having them here. They'll help count out pre-stalls, which is also a Western Ultimate League special where people are allowed to move before play begins. That's not for anyone who's familiar with the USA Ultimate rule set. Instead of trying to find the exact spot, the speck of turf that you were previously at when the call was made,
Right.
you now have a little bit of flexibility for the offense and the defense to respond ahead of the play actually getting underway.
And you'll see the observer, they'll hold up their hand above their head, and there's a pre-stall countdown. And then they'll say disc is play. So it really gives the offense ability to start going, get a rolling start. So there's a benefit there.
All right, and teams are starting to break their huddles. Tempest have, you can see the Falcons still getting those last notes to their players as we are getting set for the opening pull. Falcons are in black, Seattle in white. And again, wind coming across the field for the most part at the moment. We have some helpful Falcons flags across the way for us that will help guide, tell us what direction the wind is going. And looks like it's going to be the Falcons who will start on defense, and Seattle will get the game's opening offensive possession. A note, when the quarter switches, that will dictate which team starts on offense. So Seattle starting on offense at this point. Falcons will start on offense to start the second quarter.
Looks like we got Margot Donahue with the pull. Looking at the other players out there. Molly Munson.
And the first pull is up.
Eliza Chang.
Margot Donahue puts the disc into play. Cheryl
Beautiful
Stu. And Caitlin Neer in the backfield for Tempest. Sue, center of the field. Low throw, too low, in fact, for the intended target. It's Kat Chung. Falcons, immediate chance to break early. Up the line, far side to Lily Stepanidis. Reset back to Midi Chang. Across to Stepanidis. Chang tracks it down with one hand.
With the hands.
Falcons on the doorstep. Stepanidis, typically known as a strong cutter. Working in the backfield. Donahue tripped up. Foul called. And by the hand signals, it looks like foul, no contest. Unfortunately, just a tangle of feet. Chung not attempting anything other than to try to be there, but sometimes your feet get mixed up, and Donahue with the disc, yard out. Just able to get it off to Chang.
Falcons trying to figure it out.
Lefty inside, Mankoff, goal!
Beautiful.
Break for the Bay Area Falcons on the first point of the game. They take a 1-0 lead over Seattle.
The Bay Area Falcons, the defense has the green light to attack on a turn. They definitely did on a short field. They went at the goal. It was beautiful. Now the signal when you see the observers or anybody on the field do a cross wrist, that is a foul call when you see the gesture. And what happens is if there's a call on the field, the players on the field have 15 seconds to determine what's the call. If it's not determined between the two players, it goes back from the original point of the throw. If they need to turn to an observer to make the final call, the observer comes in to make a determination.
Jillian Mankoff on the goal for Bay Area. Notably, the Falcons plus-minus leader from last week with a +6, including 4 goals, got one already on the first point of the game. Seattle back at it.
She had a solid game. Oh,
Jazerski floats one up for Seattle into traffic.
Jazerski's fearless. He's definitely has a green light to shoot.
Knocked down by Leahy. Sam Loop in the backfield. Big block. Seattle able to get it back. There's Emily Decker with the block to deny Bay Area, but Blogger back.
Jazerski gets it back with a block.
And Harris floating it.
Shoots. Sam Loop.
Loop hauls it in for the goal. That's back-to-back breaks for the Bay Area. They go up 2-0.
Green light. Falcons coming out strong.
Loop holding positioning, able to get up and over Ada Wright for the goal. And that's 2 quick scores for the Bay Area, and Seattle already in an early hole.
Right now, Seattle is not getting beyond a couple throws. They're not fully in flow. One of the situations where you think, do you call timeout? Do you settle the team down? Coaches are saying, no, we're going to let them run through. Plenty of time.
And pretty sure Harris, from the cries I heard from the crowd, might have gone a point block on Jezierski and then with the assist as well. And Tempest going to try and have to settle, but Falcons mixing it up on the defensive end, near side with Rodenberg.
Tempest have shifted to Vert.
Miscommunication. Cherry lays out to grab it. The Seattle veteran able to make the athletic grab to maintain possession, working with Jess Spalding in the Tempest backfield. And Tempest get their offense back underway, centering pass back to Cherry.
Nice containment by Eliza Chang.
Rodenberg. Elmy, center of the field. Spalding trying to make things work in the backfield and not quite able to make the connection on the up the field throw. That's
Sam Loop with the D.
And just out of the reach of Luxa Ramirza. On the near side of the field, Meaty Chang going to picking back up, guard by Elmy.
Falcons are making that the Tempest very tough to get going.
Falcons offense looking okay so far. Elmy nearly with a piece on that as Loop and Chang work in the backfield. That's Meaty Chang and Eliza Chang, to be clear. Up to Donahue. For 7 seconds stall count, I was going to say Falcons staying patient, but question there whether or not ID potentially did reach that 7-second stall in time. Players going to talk about it. Observer ruling, stalled, turnover. And observer ruling gives the disc back to Seattle. Donahue just holding onto the disc for a moment too long.
Pressuring the handler stack with a 7-second stall count. Decisions need to be made quicker.
And even then, decisions aren't always the best ones, not quite working out. Seattle's handlers just not on the same page. Spalding trying to get open into the space. Didn't work for Elmy. Eliza Chang near sideline. Up the line to Meaty Chang. Lefty, backhand, over the top. Donahue.
Boom!
You betcha! Inbounds. That's another Falcons goal. 3-0.
Was beautiful. Defense gets in flow. A lot of times what happens in that stall count, you have to have those trust throws. You practice enough, you throw it to an athlete, they make a great play, back into flow. That was awesome.
Donahue, the 2023 Callahan finalist, with UC Davis able to track down the throw for Meaty Chang, who has a pair of assists already as the Falcons take a quick 3-0 lead. I gotta say, this was not the start I was expecting out of Seattle. This is still a very strong team that put up a very good performance against San Diego last weekend. I will be very surprised if we don't see a bounce back, but this was not the start I expected. Really, really strong opening from the Bay Area and able to bounce back for Donahue from the stall to running down that catch. Impressive all around from the Falcons.
So, exactly. I would have lost a lot of money if I bet on this situation. But like the NBA said, everybody makes a run, and Tempest very qualified to get going. And just like what happened in Utah, You think you're up, you got things handled, and then they make a run. So, no, this game is far from over.
Far from over, but Rolling not able to quite connect on that away throw will give the Falcons yet another chance as Molly Munson, far sideline, goes over to pick it up. Harris guarded by Rolling, puts it deep, trying again on the away throws, and able to track it down is McKinley McQuaid. Reset to Suji. Suji, Imanishi, ruled in by the observers, 4-0.
Dang.
Tempest has no answers right now. Imanishi able to just casually jump it in for the goal, and that's 4-0 with not even half the first period played.
Falcons enjoying some home cooking, beautiful red zone proficiency. This is awesome, really nice. And Tempest are just powering through. They call timeout? They did. I was going to say, you definitely want to settle them down, try to get the Falcons off of their momentum, and they did.
And yeah, so let's take this time, right? Lawrence, you've been a coach for a number of years in a variety of settings. Your team goes down 4-0 early. A different situation when we have timed quarters versus the sort of play to a point cap in the USAU rules. But what's the message? If you're the Seattle coaches, what's the message to the team in the huddle, knowing that you're already down this quartet of goals?
Well, there's a couple things. You know your team. You've practiced enough. You know the characters. Like, look, just settle down. There's not much I'm going to tell you. Let's just go back to what we know and just get in the flow. And that's a lot of times that's where it is. You're just trying to stop the momentum of the other team. There's nothing that I see. They're just little miscues. There's nothing alarming. Just settle them down. I think they'll be back and find their footing. Now, if this run continues to go, then that's a higher level of conversation you need to have. Do you need to start really shifting, going with, adjusting lines on a big level? But right now, this is just sort of a settling the team down.
Yeah, and it was nice to see from up here in the booth. We can still have pretty decent vision down to the field below. And it was nice to see some smiles on some of the faces of the Tempest players, clearly knowing that, as you said, they have the chance, just need to settle in. And, I mean, to the Falcons' credit, right, they're really taking advantage of those opportunities. We were looking at the statistics from last week. Both of these teams struggling on those break conversions, those break opportunities, especially in the red zone. And the Falcons have done a really, really good job so far. And it's going to be a long game. And so we'll see if that continues to hold for the Bay Area, or if they're going to give a few more chances back to Tempest to help Seattle get back into this game.
And part of the same conversation, what do you say to the Falcons? Like, just stay the course. Don't think you've got this figured out. So there's another ways that you're measuring it, but there's another miscue.
Yeah, Whiffler trying to put the disc down the line, not able to quite keep it in bounds. And the Falcons are able to get going again. Loop to the far side. Now Chang up the line to Stepanaya, still far side of the field.
And the interesting thing is, these are not, nice bid. A lot of these plays downfield are big 10, 15-yard chunks of real estate. And that's really good that the Falcons were working on.
And Donahue wasn't able to come up with it. Neither was Seattle's Hannah Duvall on the high point throw. And, Jazierski. Oh. Big bid, able to get the block, takes an injury sub, landed hard, and then landed into the back of Sharon Lynn. Hopefully nobody is too injured by that. Hopefully Jazierski just maybe got the wind knocked out of her.
Yeah, it looked like it potentially could have been injury. I would have said it was more incidental. Two athletes going for the disc.
And no foul called, so Tempest back with the disc with the length of the field in front of them.
So the Falcons have Tempest right where they want him. It's Callahan country, especially with Tempest playing so tight.
Joe Mankoff just getting the run-through block. But one throw, that's it. Red zone conversion to Eliza Chang, and that is another Falcons goal.
Look at this. This is, I'm going to say we're stunned. This is
I'm
amazing.
pretty stunned, yeah.
Look, I know Falcons coach Slap is very happy. Manisha Daryani. This is great. This is how we drew it up. So this is an interesting thing as a coach. What do you do? How do you do it? We are still in the first. This is the first quarter. We're not even talking about going to the second half situation. This is the first quarter. So this is an interesting situation here for Tempest. Red zone proficiency and efficiency for Falcons for the defense. Oh, it's awesome. So it's interesting when you look at the two teams. What you can tell by body language which team's down, which team's up. Falcons are very loose, confident. Tempest, I'd love to see him a little bit more loose, more confident.
And far side.
Throwing the cut.
Rodenberg.
Boom.
Ramirza. Spalding, backfield, floats one up in front of Ramirza and able to get it, and that is Seattle's first goal of the game. Spalding able to float one in front of Ramirza for the Tempest goal.
Off the snide. That is Tempest ultimate. Let's see if it rights the ship.
Certainly a little bit more like what we've come to expect out of Seattle. Clean offense, smooth down the field, and just not quite all the way back yet. But you got to start somewhere, right?
Well, they're on the board. They're on the board. They're part of the conversation, and that's good. Now we get to see the Bay Area Falcons offense, what they have going. And what about us? We get to play the game now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I imagine, though, that I wasn't paying perfect attention to all the lines, but I imagine that there was some rotation in terms of the lineups of the so you don't have just the same 7 D-line players going out there again and again and again.
So Falcons play a split stack. Let's see if they do that. And they're going to go horizontal. They're going to do flip. Looks like they're going to go to their split stack.
Sure enough. Split stack on Chen, center of the field, gets things going. And underneath throw to Hammer. Set to Vivian Chu. Low throw saved by Saltzman.
Very solid player, Mara Saltzman.
And
this is what happens when you're pressuring the handler stack. Oh.
And rolling, able to get the block, knocks it out. The Falcons player hands, and Tempest with their first real good break chance of the game.
And as you can tell, Seattle Tempest D-line have the green light to go. They go into fast break mode.
Oh, tip pass. Still arrives at its intended target.
Good save, Raleigh.
Rolling. And rolling still in the backfield. We're going to Cheryl Sue. The two Seattle BFG club teammates trying to make it work. Not quite able to there. And Bay Area with another chance to hold. Lots of quick throws from San Francisco. Just moving the defensive round and making it work. Far side of the field for the Bay. Center back to Chen. Eliza Pugh. Floated throw. Too far?
Oh, nice bid.
In between multiple Falcons players, none of them able to quite come up with it.
Cardenas with the bid.
Angled throw.
Boom.
Sale able to get underneath that. That's Nita Tremonte. But conversion not there. And the Falcons handlers on Chen, Vivian Chu are going to take a moment to walk back to the disc, catch their breath, and get going again.
One thing I noticed about last week's contest, Super Bloom and Tempest. Tempest likes to boost it on defense and just, we're going to pressure the offense in the red zone. So they're in the same situation that Tempest likes. We're going to get the stop in the red zone. And we like our chances. We like our D probability to get a stop. Let's see how it plays out. Can Falcons figure it out?
And looks like a bit of a zone.
Nice bid by Pugh.
From Seattle, trying to clamp down, but Chung a little too close, knocks the disc straight out of Pugh's hands. And Seattle really trying to clamp down on those handlers, make it as difficult as possible for the Bay Area. Chu able to find Pugh. Up the line to Chen. Chen, away throw, floaty though. And Urheim able to get under it.
Margaret Urheim with a great catch.
Holds off rolling. And now uneven numbers and Vivian Chu to Kara Hammer. And that is a Falcons hold as the first quarter is nearing its close. Falcons up 6-1.
You know, I'm going to tell you, to see the Falcons go coast to coast and be able to score quickly, this is great to see for the organization to be able to do that.
And really, really great job from the Bay Area, able to navigate that Tempest pressure. Tempest with another number of opportunities in the short field to generate that break chance, but not able to convert. It was something that played them against San Diego. Not quite able to kick that curse at the moment. And Falcons able to take advantage, even though not on the assist board. Han Chen instrumental, able to open up the field, and Urheim an incredible grab, holding off the defensive presence of rolling and able to bring that disc down.
Chen and Pugh in their own red zone had definitely got out of that area in the small windows and definitely navigated into bigger waters with really skilled pinpoint throws. That was nice to see.
Seattle back out and at it again, trying to put another point on the board before the end of the period. And I think at least there's zeros on the scoreboard, so we're going to say that the clock has expired, which means that Seattle will now get a chance to finish this possession, whether in a goal or in a block.
This is all possession. This is not a buzzer beater sort of situation. Just maintain possession.
And Whiffler is able to do so on the nearest sideline, centering back to Jezierski. And timeout taken, which Seattle does have. However, I think that is their second one that they've taken so far. And Lawrence, remind me, 2 timeouts per half?
Yes.
So no more timeouts for Tempest in the second quarter. But Jezierski just feeling like really needing to convert the opportunity, really feeling like Seattle needs to get this goal to bring the deficit back down to 4, and takes the opportunity to call the timeout.
So timeouts are 60 seconds, and the stall count is 0 when it comes back in. And each team can swap out whole lines at this time. So it'll be interesting. Are they going to go Tempest call timeout? Are they going to sub in? They can come up with a play. They're going to sub in new players. It'll be interesting to see what goes down, how they're able to capitalize. Because they need to punch it in. You definitely want to go into the second quarter with a little bit of momentum. So you may be asking, well, what happens if Falcons create a turnover? The quarter's over. So right now, as long as Tempest maintains possession, goes down.
Although, Lawrence, it may be that the timeout ended the quarter because the teams are in their full huddles. We are past a minute, or pretty much just about, as in a timeout situation.
So are we talking through end of quarter?
We may be. We may be at 6-1 at the end of the quarter.
So they call timeout without time. So that lost their is normally so interesting. I thought they had time remaining. Let's see.
We're going to check that, folks. This is a unique situation because I don't know how many times, right? In USA Ultimate situations, we have soft cap and we have hard cap. we don't have possession rules at the end of a quarter, right? And most of the time, teams are flowing in their possessions. They're trying to make it work. And I don't know, at least in certainly the games I've seen, I don't know if there's necessarily been situations where players on the field especially, have called timeouts in that final possession. And so it may be a situation where a timeout forces it to the end of the quarter. And
If you call timeout while you're in possession, it needs to be within the time frame. So I think you can, as long as you have possession, I believe you can call timeout. We need to go to the rule book. This is very interesting.
Here's an interesting one. No team may call a timeout during any possession after regulation time has expired. In the rule book, if a timeout is called after regulation time has expired, it is a turnover and the quarter shall be deemed over. No loss of timeout penalty shall be imposed. So that would mean that that Tempest lost their opportunity to score there, which Jezierski was not very far out. And however, they should still have one more timeout left to burn in the second quarter. Yes. But I mean, I was not aware that was a thing. It's a line in the rule book, folks. So to be clear, this is a legitimate. The observers are doing their job, but it's a unique situation here.
Right. That was a crack in the universe. I studied the rule book, and all of a sudden, this little crack in the universe that we didn't know. Now we know. Okay,
now we know.
Thank you for pointing that out.
Which, I mean, mental mistakes happen all the time by every player at different points. That's a brutal one. If you're Jezierski, though, to call it knowing you're right there, knowing you have the chance, and Jezierski back out there for Seattle, and it looks like Seattle is going to be back in a zone look. Jezierski sitting back as the deep in that zone, looking a little frustrated with that mental mistake.
Completely. I just want to make I was never good at blue book exams anyway, so that's my excuse on not knowing that one. Nice catch.
Chu able to lay out for the grab. Up to Han Chen. Over to Chu. Seattle still in the zone. Imanishi back to Chu. Bay Area making it work so far. Imanishi disc far side of the field.
They're chiseling nicely. Oh, good.
Vivian Chu going to work, trying to get the openings. Stranding Erheim a bit, but Imanishi able to get back for the disc. Pugh, Chen, goal.
Very poised.
Falcons.
Very poised. No stress. Nice. Beautifully done.
And that's clean point of offense for the Bay Area, who were on their heels at the end of that first quarter with Seattle with possession with a chance to bring the score to 6-2. Timeout mistake allows for the quarter change, and with the Falcons back on offense to start the second, they take advantage. And instead of being a 4-point difference at the quarter break, it is currently 7-1. The Bay Area leads Seattle.
And just to say, Tempest have the capability to come back and go on a run. And to make this game interesting, I'm hoping that happens because they're very exciting once they get their groove going. Falcons are taking care of business. Hats off.
The Bay Area looking very impressive so far, and this is not the Seattle Tempest team that has won the last two titles. Opening up deep to Rodenberg, and Ramirsa follows it up, follows the path out, reads all of the defenders. Elmi just able to hang on to it. 5 yards out. Cherry, Elmi unguarded for a moment for Munson. And a few yards away, Elmi still in the backfield. Beautifully read inside throw from Elmi to Dre Baroma, and that is a Tempest hold, bringing the score to 7-2 with the Falcons up.
That was nice. I thought they were continuing to jam hole in that corner. They got out in the deeper waters and made the catch, made the goal. And that was comfortable. Right now what I'm finding is the people who are boosting it are throwing these piñata sort of throws, level it out, little break of the wrist, and that those throws are going to go deeper and more catchable.
And I mean, it helps to have players following it up, and that's what you always say as a coach, right? Follow the play, follow the disc, and that throw did not seem like it was a dead for Ruleset at all. Follows it up, able to scoop up the disc and maintain the Tempest possession as they put another score on the board.
Look, people who are able to clean up the garbage make big plays, and it turns out to be a score.
Low throw from Pugh to Chen. Bring another zone. Hammer to Suji.
Thunder and lightning. Boom.
Chen not quite in. Tried to jump it in from there. And Chen to Suji. A combo you talked about the pregame, making it work. And smooth Bay Area offense. And Falcons looking in absolute control, up 8-2.
What's interesting is Tempest are not disrupting Han Chen. Han Chen is getting their swerve on. Things are very comfortable. Falcons are catching in the small windows comfortably. That's a big difference, to be able to create opportunities and catching in small windows and then turn around and attack. But Han Chen is able to do anything she wants. Liza Pugh as well.
And the Falcons getting all-around contributions from their offense. 8-2, but on the score sheet from my hand tracking, only one player has more than one goal or assist, and that was Meaty Chang picking up 2 early assists. Otherwise, distributing the goals, distributing the assists, not leaning on any one player too much. Han Chen, Julian Mankov, huge contributors against Utah. But if you're the Falcons coaching staff, you have to be pretty happy that the other players along your roster are able to make it work. And Jezierski unleashes a gorgeous backhand. No questions. That's Jezierski trying to atone for that mistake at the end of the corner. That was dialed on that deep throw.
That's the boost fest that they're comfortable going. Now Falcons are going, okay, great. You got yours. That's fine. We're back at it. We're gonna come back at you strong.
Jezierski, one of the most lethal deep throwers in the Western Ultimate League, showing it off there, putting the perfect amount of edge, leading her receiver all the way down the field without issue. And a recent selection to a Team USA World Ultimate Championships team as well. A number of different folks here at this game who both tried out and made the team, Jezierski among them.
So Jezierski is one that you want to continue to make uncomfortable, like the equivalent of Han Chen. And early on, she was not getting her looks, and now you don't want her to get comfortable. You want to definitely crowd her and limit her looks downfield.
And Falcons offense getting back underway.
She's so good.
Herheim to Chen, center of the field, Imanishi. Falcons offense looking it's best that I think I've ever seen it so far. And Chen playing a center pivot role. Now to Pugh. The line to Cardenas. Chen. Thinking about it, near sideline, guard by Elmi. Resets to Pugh, center of the field. Continues to Cardenas. Luis Cardenas not quite able to. That final pass denied by Rodenberg.
So beautiful, that red zone, but it's one miscue.
And deep throw, trying to find Rodenberg, blocked.
Herheim with the D. Announcer's curse with Han Chen.
Cherry looking for an option, finding Elmi center of the field. He sets back to Cherry. Tempest looking a little stagnant. Elmi tries to find Rodenberg. Wynn just punches that disc right back down to the ground, and Barry will get another chance.
Quietly, confidently.
And hear a timeout whistle from the sideline. Seems like the Falcons coaches want to take a breather, make sure their offense was settled in. Up 8-3, still very comfortable lead, but with your offense out there, you want to give them time and a breather to make sure that you can convert these offensive opportunities.
Yeah, and you're Coach Dariani. You definitely you have your offense a little gassed. It's like, okay, let's just get this down. Let's just settle down and just get back and run of our They were so close to the red zone. Everything was going proficient, and then that one little miscue, and all of a sudden you've got all that energy. You've got to defend the whole field. But they got it back, settled down.
And I will say, I still think, despite the last pass and miss, that the Falcons offense still looked very, very efficient.
Indeed.
I mean, we're not even halfway through the second quarter, and they already have nearly half the points that they had in the entirety of the game at Utah, and that game had overtime too. So they have as many points, or half as many points, not even halfway through the second quarter as they did in that entire game. And yes, the offensive pace might be slowing down a little bit, but it's still very impressive from the Bay Area at the moment, and they're going to look to make it 9-3 after this timeout.
So coming off of timeout, the offense gets the set, and then once they're set, then the defense can set up and tap the disc in. But to your point, we're being picayune. The offense all the way down for Falcons looks terrific.
And Tempest staying in the zone, but Hammer able to get wide open. Doubling up on the deepest defender will often leave a player open, and now they're just gaping holds. Chen not quite in. Able to get it to Vivian Chu for the goal. That's another assist for Han Chen, as the Falcons do indeed make it 9-3.
I want to point out these one-handed catches, athletes make those catches, but they are not easy. And very casually done, adeptly done.
Yeah, maybe if you're the Bay Area coaching staff, you're maybe like, hey, we're not even to halftime yet. We're like barely getting into this game. Let's not be too casual with it yet. But confidence, that's what it shows
Completely.
to me. Plenty of confidence for the Bay Area.
It was great. Well, you have to admit, that was a one-handed catch that had to be made in that catch. It was not a two-handed catch that she decided to make one. But yes, you want a little bit more 100% throws. We got the fans getting involved. Now we got some volume here.
Stadium announcers in the next booth up. We're trying to get the crowd hyped up as we're starting to near the halfway point of the second quarter. And Tempest offense gets back underway. Near side. Decker. Resetting. Trying to find Jezierski. Able to track it. Even with the win. Marked by Eliza Chang. Jezierski. Angle pass. Floats popped.
Whoa.
And eventually blocked. And knocked down.
As we say, very visionary.
Jezierski will do that. Has the vision for it. Nearly able to do it. The win just making those passes all the tougher. And similarly, Win making it a little tricky for Mankoff to try and reel it in. And back it goes to Seattle. And pick called. Unlike basketball, can't set picks. And so I want to make sure that folks are settled and ready. And
a pick, so the sort of the two arms out power look is a signal for pick. And that means that a defensive player cannot be obstructed. If they're obstructed in any way, that is technically a pick.
And another tangle of feet like we saw in the earlier part of the game. Foul called by the Seattle player. And after that pick call, also notice that the observer is counting down the pre-stall players able to move. Part of the extra motion that is allowed for in the Western Ultimate League.
So you'll see the arm go up. So yes, so when you have a pick, either the defensive player that's been obstructed is allowed to catch up with the person they're defending. But let's see what happens. Pick is called. Okay. Let's see if they do the pre-stall.
Foul contest here. It looks like on that tangle of feet, disc will go back.
So the two players turn to the observer to make a final ruling.
And disc will stay with Jezierski. Contest, and now the pre-stall count coming in from the observer. 4, 3, and away we go. Jezierski resetting
Ace
up
in
the line.
space.
And just Seattle's offense not quite clicking today so far.
That's their bread and butter.
It's the simple stuff that's not quite working for Seattle. And Falcons with a chance to reach double digits. Eliza Chang, center of the field. To Vicky Chen. And run through block from Seattle. Lauren Meyer with the block. And near side. Toe.
Oh, nice.
Tries it, but Stepanidis reading the play the entire way, able to get the block.
Nice.
Is still near side with Munson. Stepanidis, standout cutter over the years for San Francisco Mischief in the club division, dropping into the handler space. Over the top throw, Mankoff reads it better.
Nice positioning.
The Wind just holding it up for the key goal scorer. And Steph Lim on the mark against Amanda Leahy. But foul called. Leahy back to Munson. And another timeout call. So Bay Area trying to punch in this break chance. Now about 4 minutes left in the period. What do you think of this call? This is the second and final timeout of the half for the Bay Area. But your D-line is on the field. And with the Western Ultimate League rules allowing for full subbing, what do you think of the decision here to call this timeout from the sideline to potentially sub some more offensive-minded folks in to try and convert the score to go up 10-3?
So there's a couple things to think about. The defense for the Falcons are really proficient in attacking and going deep. Now that you're in the red zone and things are set, maybe you put a more proficient O-line in there that can work from a stop disc and run a play. Look, the defensive line have built this lead. I'd say, go. You're in flow. Go do it. On the other hand, play devil's advocate. I want my O-line to get more touches, be in the red zone, work out the kinks, and I want to see you go through this. So we'll see. I would have kept the D-line in there and just said, look, I like where you've gotten us. Just keep going. But let's see what happens.
Well, it looks like by the fact that Han Chen and Vivian Chu are setting up in the handler space for the Bay Area, looks like they are trying to load this offensive opportunity for the break chance. And Chen Imanishi resets to Chu. Little stumble, able to catch her feet. Imanishi somehow saves it to Pugh. Around low throw, too low.
Nice try.
The Wind just punching it down to the turf before Khalees Cardenas could get to it. Steph Lim, far side.
Tempest in space.
Decker. To the inside. Elmi now. Seattle's offense getting back underway. Able to get it. Yes! Layout catch for the goal. That's Drea Baroma for Tempest.
Nice bit.
And their offense does hold after the Bay Area timeout. Brings the score to 9-4 in favor of the Falcons.
I like the flow. I like with the Falcons. It was beautiful flow. That big backhand around, a little bit too low. I love they were very comfortable. One slight miscue and the door opened for Tempest to attack.
And that's Elmi's second assist of the game and Baroma's second goal as well. So Tempest offense is starting to get a little bit more settled, starting to see a little bit more consistent contributions from some of their key players, but a ways to go yet, that is for sure. Although it feels like this game has been going on for quite a while, and yet we still got 3.5 minutes left until the halftime break, and then a whole nother half of Ultimate ahead of us.
Exactly. That's the funny thing. This has been great. Ultimate, by the way, it was a sick layout.
Yeah, incredible grab by Baroma.
Yes.
And once again, zone from Seattle. And Chen doesn't even blink when faced with 3 players in her face.
Han Chen handling her business.
Maru, near side, back to Chen. Chen across to Chu. Falcons seem very practiced, very settled against this Seattle defense. Pugh, center of the field. Chu basically going unmarked now. Chen near sideline, looking for an opportunity. Chu up the line, inside throw. Pugh able to get in front of Whipfler. Shayla Harris to Pugh. Falcons offense remaining steady. Chen floated, tipped, block, and that is a denial from Alexa Ramirez for Seattle.
It's interesting. Wide open midfield, you're churning up yardage, and everything gets compressed in the red zone. A little bit tighter, the windows are smaller.
Neither team was stellar last week in red zone efficiency, so that's going to be a stat to continue to keep our eye on as the game develops. Which team is going to be able to better expect? Wow.
Chu with the foot block.
Chu with getting in front.
With the appendage block. I don't know what part of the leg, but that was... The only satisfying thing is if you throw into a foot block is if they come up like limping, you're like, that's the only...
Chu,
that was just a great D.
Managing the read. I initially thought that it would be a foul call just because of Chu's reaction, but no, clean. You could tell Cheryl Sue, standout handler for Seattle BFG in the club division, just not able to get there.
Time running down.
Suji to Harris. Seattle's defense is definitely picking up. Energy is picked up for the Tempest in a real way. High stall count. Yep. And it's too low. Harris. Oh!
Did you get it?
Never mind.
Goal scored.
What in the world, Han Chen? I don't understand. I think Harris, from Harris's reaction, I think she thought that was a turnover for sure. And I don't.
Let's look at the replay.
Let's watch the replay real quick. High stall count. Harris trying to find an option. Low throw.
Wow.
Yeah, sure.
Wow.
Observer ruled it up and in. Yes. They were staring at it the entire
looking,
way.
Looking. That was just a behind. Look at that. Through the traffic. Wow. Amazing. Han Chen, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, I was going to say the exact same thing. Holy moly. That was incredible.
Beautiful. And what I say is athletes need to make those plays. You need to make those plays.
I don't even...
This sport is not like... Coaches love to see a perfect game, but athletes step up. Highlights are made with imperfection throws and stuff like that. That was a great throw.
That was...
Excuse me, a great catch.
Absurd.
Yes.
Catch and play made by Han Chen to save the Bay Area offensive possession. And Seattle with another opportunity on offense as we take under a minute left in this first half. Shadow starting to get real long here in Oakland, California. And Seattle taking their time, trying to maintain possession through the end of this quarter. Lanier able to maintain possession near side.
She's so smooth, Lanier. Oh, there you go.
And rolling, trying to get to it. Eliza Chang.
Your players are going to talk about it. Was it, wasn't it?
Here, we'll get the replay. Tough to say. It's almost simultaneous catch. Disc will stay with rolling as the pre-stall gets going. And Spalding in the backfield. Spalding, near sideline. Floating, throw, over.
Wow. Disc got magical.
Over Lanier, but also over Munson. Not able to get to it is Spalding.
Molly Munson with the big D.
No foul called. That was actually Vicky Chen, it looked like, on the run through now. Munson with the disc.
So here we're back to, is time expired? Did they come in? Time is done.
Zervers seems to say that it was not, but now it is on that turnover to Spalding, and that will take us to halftime. The Bay Area Falcons leading Seattle Tempest 10-4. Lawrence, thoughts on that incredible first half, especially the offensive showing that we saw from the Bay Area?
So, look, this is great. Falcons look terrific. They both ends, D and O, scored. It was great. The O was good. They were popping. They were bouncing. They were finding seams. I'm happy. I'm excited. This was fantastic. Now, on the Tempest, they're still in the game. This is not an insurmountable number, but they got to figure it out. Who are we here? We here to just play, play frisbee? We're here to play some ultimate. So I'm curious to see how they respond.
Both teams heading towards the locker room. And yeah, we'll see what Seattle has in store for the second half. Down 10-4. Again, this is not what we were necessarily expecting from the two-time defending champs, but just not quite looking like themselves in the first half. Minor miscues, that timeout mistake at the end of the first quarter that just ended the possession on an instant. But again, an entire second half still to play, so plenty of time for Seattle to gather themselves, reset, and get ready for another half of Ultimate.
These are what I would say in general, slight miscues. These miscues can be adjusted with Tempest. Falcons, everyone's playing a terrific game. And just continue. The thing is about Ultimate Frisbee, everybody talks about we won the half. That is, you got to close out. See what happens the second half. Those are really the characteristics of a good team. Can they carry the momentum in from the first half into the second half and close out the game?
All right, we're going to step away for a quick break. When we come back, hopefully we'll be able to get a halftime interview with a Falcons player, and if not, we'll be joining you for the second half of action here from Oakland, California. And welcome back to Fremont High School in Oakland, California, as the Bay Area Falcons hold a 10-4 halftime lead over Seattle Tempest. I am very lucky to be joined in the booth by the Falcons' Vivian Chu. Viv, that was an incredible first half for the Bay Area. What helped fuel that early run and the early efficiency from the offense, from both the offensive line and the defensive line in the early going?
Yeah, really the crowd. Our first home game, people are really excited to be here. I think the D-line in particular just came here ready to eat. We did a lot of preparation on our matchups, and we're just ready to run and play a high-tempo offense to score.
Yeah, from last week's opener on the road against Utah, a tough overtime game in tough conditions. What was sort of the adjustment from reflecting on that first game, that tough loss, and bringing it into this game in this first half so far?
Yeah, I think, last week was our first time playing against an opponent, really, and in the last week we've done a lot of reflections and team discussions on where we can improve, get better, get reps against zone, figure out how to move that around, and also just like roles on defense, and figuring out how to move it from like cutters coming into the handler space, handlers going into the cutter space, and being just able to attack the disc downfield and in the backfield.
Any thoughts looking ahead to the second half? Y'all have a 6-goal lead at the moment. What's it going to take for y'all to maintain the lead this time around, unlike the lost lead last week? What's going to really help fuel y'all in the second half?
Oh, we're reminded, and we don't forget that last game lightly. We're definitely focusing on just keeping up that intensity and not, losing the little things, the fundamentals. Still cutting sharply and making all those throwing angles easy to hit.
Sounds good. Well, good luck out there, and best luck with the second half.
Thank you.
Thank you. And welcome back once again to beautiful Oakland, California. Sun is setting here in the Bay Area as the hometown Falcons are leading the visitors, Seattle Tempest, 10-4. I'm Jenna Whiter, joined by Lawrence McKendall. It's been a very exciting first half. Plenty of highlight plays all around, but especially by the Falcons in establishing that 6-point lead.
I love the confidence that the Falcons are playing. There's a big shot by Sheila Harris.
Sam Loop holding off the defender. Emphatic spike. Meaty Chang. Front cone. Lefty inside to Mankoff for the goal. And it was smooth going early for the Bay Area. Seattle just miscuing. Incredible layout catch from Margot Donahue. One of the emphatic points.
That might have been next to, we're going to see another highlight, but that was a really big highlight with Margot Donahue's layout.
And
the proficiency was just amazing. This is something a coach's dream.
And just over and over, Seattle just seemed to have no answers. They were able to get a few points on the board, 4 in total by the end of the half, but just not quite able to get it done. That floated throw up over to Ramirez finally got Tempest on the board. But for the most part, it was all Bay Area. Margot Erheim holding off the defender on that away throw by Han Chen. And just dominance by the Falcons all around as the teams start to make their way onto the field for the start of this second half. As we watch the rest of these highlights play, Lawrence, any thoughts ahead of the second half of action here in Oakland?
If I'm talking to the Falcons, we have to finish out the second half. This is far from over. We have 2 other quarters to play, and we cannot give the other team any hope for getting back, so we have to keep on rolling and stay focused. On Tempest, we're going to figure it out. Play our game. I think if the Tempest play their game and they start shooting and getting open, this would be great. But a lot of their deep shots have been sort of squirrely. If they can clean that up, I think they can put a few more scores on the board. So there we go, Tempest and flow.
Yeah, so far their offense looking good on the opening possession of the second half. Seattle starting out on offense as the starting possession rotates once again. Seattle starting with possession to open the first and third quarters, while the Bay Area will start with it for the second and fourth. Great grab by Steph Lim. Continued throw, and that's a quick, smooth Seattle score. Carly Campana on the receiving end as Tempest put one on quick and clean. And if you're a Seattle fan, that's exactly what you want to see to start the second half. You want to see your team settle in, do what they do best, and just smooth, easy offense in for the score.
But what made that possible was Steph Lim's catch. It takes a great catch to continue with the flow. That was an errant throw that made a good, beautiful catch to continue the flow for Tempest. So that was a really sort of the mortar with the bricks. That was a great catch.
And now if you are Seattle, the obvious thing is now we got to go get breaks, right? Take this opportunity and start to chip away at this deficit. If you go blow for blow with the Bay Area, you're going to lose. You have a 6-point deficit to make up. But if you can start to pile up those break chances and those break conversions, then Tempest are going to be right back into this game real quick.
But that's a great point. You can't go blow for blow. So this is going to be interesting how they respond.
See if they pull the same zone.
2 great catches.
Not quite. Hammer able to maintain possession. Far sideline. Chen getting again a couple of floated throws. Imanishi unguarded, at least for the moment. Chen, Chu, both working in the backfield.
Big around. Saltzman.
Depew, center of the field.
Saltzman in space.
On the doorstep are the Falcons. Imanishi. Saltzman finds Chen. High stall count. Saltzman open up the line. Does it in front of Jezierski, and that is a Falcons hold. And they restore their 6-point margin up 11-5.
Mara Saltzman does what Mara Saltzman does. Handles, nice give and go, very poised.
Just a couple quick steps is able to get in front of Jezierski, and Chen with a 3rd assist on the game by my tally. Han Chen has 3 assists and 2 scores. Pretty good stat line for one of the Bay Area's leading offensive powerhouses, this time connecting with Saltzman for the goal.
Yeah, it was nice. That red zone is beautiful. That's key. All that energy going down to the red zone and you throw it away. If you can be centered and calm and focused, beautiful things happen.
And Hammer able to save possession early on with a sliding grab on the far sideline. Able to make it work for the Bay Area as the pole floats up and into the stands. Seattle will get a chance to play at about half field or so, it looks like. Lanier picking up the disc. 7:15 local time, sunset coming about 15 minutes, so Shadow's getting real long here as a pick is called in the center of the field.
Tempest in a vert stack. Falcons are going to be very poachy.
Oh, big put, away throw, just out of the reach of rolling. Nearly able to track down the away pass, but not quite able to get there. And the Falcons will get a break opportunity.
So this is always interesting to see how smoothly the Falcons can get out of the red zone, out of their red zone and downfield. Wind is going across the field towards the stands.
And not quite on there from Meaty Chang. Inside throw, low throw. Cheryl Sue gives it right back. And after a couple opening clean points of offense, neither team quite able to find their rhythm on this point so far. Inside throw from Chang.
No
corralled.
call. Wow. Sam Loop with a great grab and a boost.
Sam Loop trying to find Sharon Lynn, but unable to read it. But hey, field position for the Falcons. Things looking a little hectic out there at the moment. But this back in the hands of Eliza Chang, now centered middle of the field to Meaty Chang. Up the line, Stepanitis. Stepanitis throws directly to Aroma. And
this is an unusual
quick
point
mistakes,
here.
yeah. Seattle just dropping passes not on the same wavelength. Not sure if it's because it looks like they're staring directly into the sun or what, but Seattle having a tough time. But same with same with the Bay Area. It's been a funky point. Not sure what's happening here, but neither team is able to get. It's like string 3 or 5 passes together at the moment.
Falcons are not in a hurry. Is this a Callahan? Almost.
No, foul called.
Foul call.
Meaty Chang. Foul, no contest. Meaty Chang on Cheryl Sue.
Meaty's all over that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A huge question out of the contact. Spalding, near side. Big layout grab from Kat Chung. Saves it for Seattle over the top to Rolling. Can Rolling track it down this time? Oh, yeah. Not in, though. On the doorstep. Back to Lanier. Lanier, Rodenberg, goal, Seattle. And after a wild point where Bay Area had possession, had the chance in the red zone to get the break, Seattle able to settle, get the eventual goal, Rolling the outlet, and Lanier to Rodenberg for the score.
That was a nice layout by Chung. That was a nice highlight grab. Settled down. Maintained the possession. Okay, that's fine. They got one. Now it's our turn.
Incredible grab by Chung, as you said, on the near sideline. And that's what Seattle's going to need in the second half to come back. They're going to need to come up with those big highlight plays. Smooth offense only gets you so far. You need to take advantage of your opportunities. Although I will say, Lawrence, that was only a hold. It is still a 5-point deficit.
No, completely to your point, and that was a long point. Those time is not definitely on Tempest's side, but there is time. But that was a long, energy-burning play.
High floaty pull from Seattle settles just past midfield. Chu and Chen in the backfield once again for the Falcons. And that like 3-person cup wall from Seattle not currently doing a ton to slow down the Bay Area. And Erheim just able to keep that disc up off the turf. Low throw, Cardenas. Chen, Tsuji just off the hands, and Seattle with a break chance. Can they convert it? Cherry directing traffic as Seattle tries to get its offense going with the length of the field in front of them. Elmy, center of the field.
Seattle back in the horizontal offense.
Lauren Meyer throwing wide to right. Right, up the line to Elmy. Elmy near sideline, putting it deep. Angled pass, low. Too low. for Lauren Meyer to come up with.
Elmi in power position.
Had the look, just not able to quite get the touchy angle. Chen thought about the deep throw, wasn't there. Found Erheim, far sideline anyway. Now Chu, center of the field for the Bay Area. Pugh. Falcons slinging it across the field. Chen in space as the Falcons have rapidly crossed half field. Suji far sideline. Up the line, Erheim, no questions. Easy enough, and 6-point lead restored as the Bay Area double up. Seattle up 12-6.
Khalees Cardenas was very smooth, very integral in the handler stack.
And Suji getting the assist this time. Second of the game. As the Bay Area gives up a break chance, but gets it back. And doesn't offer another opportunity. Oftentimes when we talk about for the Western Ultimate League teams, or I know that this is talked about regularly, especially when there is a point cap in particular for the club scene in USA Ultimate, is that really good teams, if you turn the disc over, they will not give it back to you. And so you have to minimize those turnovers. You have to take advantage of your opportunities. And Seattle not taking advantage of those opportunities, giving it back to the Bay Area. And the Bay Area says, hey, yeah, you keep giving us the disc. We're going to eventually make it work. And they made it work for that hold. But Seattle's offense cruising once again. Far sideline now centering for Lexa Kirkland. Waiting for an receiver, Rodenberg. Rodenberg again near sideline.
Falcons are definitely trying to close those windows, make them tighter to throw.
Sue, Kirkland, Lanier. Seattle pinging it over the top and over the head of the intended target, Campana. Former Carlton Syzygy teammates, Lanier and Campana, not quite on the same page, and that away throw from the Bay just well short. And we have lights signaling we are just about to sunset here, folks.
This is beautiful conditions, beautiful weather.
And Cheryl Sue having a tough game, puts another one into the teeth of the Falcons defense. Will give the Bay Area another chance to break. Munson walking over to pick up the disc on the near sideline.
Nice IO.
Mankoff far sideline.
Falcons in flow.
A round throw. Able to get up to Vicky Chen.
We're in red zone. Let's see what happens.
And low angle throw away for the goal. That's McKinley McQuaid from Munson.
Beautiful
and
catch.
13-6 is the advantage. A 7-point Bay Area lead.
That was a very clean red zone. And we're looking, we may get a little rain. Excuse me. So let's see. But right now the conditions are really beautiful. It was a great catch from McQuaid.
Not really sure how Munson managed to squeeze that pass in, but managed to touch it and float it up enough. And McQuaid able to reach up with the one-handed grab to secure it. Get the replay one more time.
Flat mark. Big,
guarded
low.
by Rodenberg.
Boom. Oh, that was great.
And just read enough by McQuaid. Molly Munson to McKinley McQuaid. Eminem to Eminem. Makes it works for the Falcons.
You've been waiting to drop that one all broadcasts. And nicely done.
When I see my opportunities, I will take them. And now the Falcons, 7-point margin. After the 2-point games last week, I was expecting some close games, but so far, at least, maybe this is commentator's curse, so far, Falcons looking incredible through nearly 3/4 of this game.
Yeah, no, I'm. You know, you look. So what might be the answer? I I know there's one one player who's not
Cherry
here.
putting it deep, trying to find rolling, but these puts are just not connecting into the wind.
Is it jet lag? I mean, what are these? Like, can we make excuses for this? They're not traveling that far.
Same time zone, Pacific time zone.
Right.
Thought about it. Leahy
Very measured.
saw Stepanidis. Stall count rises and stall called. May not matter. Maybe a turnover regardless, just a matter of where the disc is. No stall. Straight turnover.
As we're sorting this out, the observers today are Tyler Bacon and Sebastian Miner.
Much appreciation to our observers. Helping make sure the game flows, rules get clarified, and things are properly and efficiently communicated. So much appreciation to those two folks. As Lim saves it near sideline, trying to work with Cherry in the Seattle backfield. Floated throw into a pack, and Jezierski just somehow snags it out of the grouping.
Clarifies everything. Oh.
But the low throw gives the disc right back to the Falcons. Bay Area's offense looking a little scattered at the moment, but Stepanidis finds Munson, finds Meaty Chang, who thinks about the away throw, instead opts for the inside pass to Erheim. Loop up the line to Munson. To Stepanidis. Sharon Lynn. Just efficient. And Erheim not quite in. Falcons will need at least one more pass. Make that few more passes. Erheim. Munson. Munson in for the goal. Sharon Lynn tracks it down.
And that proficiency continues.
It is another Bay Area break that makes it 14-6 Falcons.
I would have thought the over and under would have been much, at least the deviation between points would have been much closer. This is a thumping. We still got another quarter.
Still got another quarter, but an 8-point margin is a pretty sizable one to overcome. Munson with her third assist of the game. What are you seeing from Seattle that's leading to all of these issues? Are you noticing anything in particular, or is it just small things that the Bay Area is able to take advantage of?
Well, if the thing is, with the Tempest, if they can make 3 catches in space, then they get going. But they're not getting fully in flow. And then when they're in flow, they're not getting the disc to their main people that can put it out there. But they're just not getting those major connection points.
Yeah, maybe it is a travel thing. I mean, the same time zone, but as Campana unleashes deep, but Harris says no way. Well able to track that deep throw away. I mean, maybe it's a travel thing because this is Seattle's first road game of the season. You don't get to sleep in your own bed. Maybe you're a step slow, a step tired, but it feels hard to explain an 8-point gap that we're seeing so far.
Did they get in tonight? Did they get in last night? Did they get in this morning? That might be. You're out of sorts if you're. But right now, and then also Falcons they're going to shoot. They have to shoot. So let's just be aware. So you're going to see multiple people back there preventing the deeps.
And I mean, we'll see eventually on the stats, but Falcons looking mostly polished. That one just off the hands of Eliza Chang will give Seattle another chance. And this should be the last possession of the quarter. So Seattle will get to take another chance. That's 3 times that they've had the opportunities to end it. And this will make it a conversion to end it as Campana is on the end of it to bring it to 14-7 at the end of 3.
I like this game. I like it, even as peculiar as it is. This is the energy that's out there. The players are playing at a level, but sometimes some teams don't have it, and there's still another quarter to play.
I mean, to give some credit, that was Elmi's third assist of the game, nearly half of Seattle's assists. Ikran Elmi having a great game so far. The University of Washington product playing a key role for the Seattle offense tonight, but not getting the type of support that we normally see from Seattle up and down the board. In terms of the scoring column, per my account, we have all of 5 players who have scored for Seattle. It's just not the balanced contributions, as opposed to looking at the lineup for the Bay Area. I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 players. I started counting and then realized there's so many. 13 players who have scored for the Bay Area. That's much more akin to what we normally see from Seattle. And yet, here we are, 14-7 after 3 quarters.
Yeah, no, and it's so to talk about Elmi. Elmi's fearless with Super Bloom. Disc runs through her, and I'm not surprised by her stats. Now, looking at the distribution that you're looking at for Falcons, that's nice. Is that a spreadsheet you'd like to look if you're the coach? Is that something you would love to see?
Yeah, certainly. On the scoring side, on the assisting side, a little bit more unbalanced, but that's because you have Molly Munson with 3 assists, you have Han Chen with 3 assists, Shayla Harris with a pair of assists, as well as Ali Suji with a pair of assists.
That's nice.
All per our tracking, we might have missed something along the way. But still, it speaks to both the breadth of contributions that the Falcons have been able to get tonight, as well as some of their key standouts. Again, Han Chen, 2 goals, 3 assists, one of the key statistical leaders for this Falcons team. And this offensive line is going to get a chance to go back out there once again to try and put another point on the board and make it 15 goals after just a little over 3 quarters, if they're able to convert this initial hold to start the 4th and final quarter of play.
And this balanced stat sheet you're looking at, that's nice. The other team cannot sort of tee off on 1 or 2 players as a, sort of the linchpins. If it's distributed as widely as it, then the other team has a problem because they can't focus on 1 player. It's really nice to see how balanced the Falcons are playing.
And it's going to be interesting to see, right from Seattle, do you try and bring a different, another defensive look to try and get quick turnovers and generate those opportunities? Or do you try and, keep playing some of the same zone, the same matchup, and just hope that the Falcons have not made a lot of mistakes? Maybe they'll make a few mistakes in this 4th quarter and start to allow you back into the game and starting to trim away the current 7-point margin that we have here.
You can, in some points, you can turn this into a practice going, okay, we're just going to work on some things and then fold up the tent and stay true to what we need to work on. Or we're gonna try some things and see if we can catch fire.
I think if you're the Falcons, because we have a timed game, I don't think you can get away from doing what you've been doing right away. And, doesn't look like they are getting away from it right now. Saltzman, disc on the near sideline. Chen and Chu in the backfield, but it's rolling with the run-through block. And Jazerski, was wondering if that was going to come out.
It's coming.
Over the top backhand, read well by Rolling. And Seattle with an immediate short field break chance after that huck by Jazerski. And Cherry just scant yards out, Rolling, the block getter. Throws the assist, maybe? And goal, and Elmi, sure enough, Rolling gets the block, gets the assist, and Elmi adds a goal to her score sheet as that's a break for Seattle.
An unusual break, but a lot of frenetic energy there. There's no style points right now. You just got to get it into the goal.
Rolling with the run-through block and then the floaty throw over to Elmi, who fans herself off. Makes sense. Been on a bit of a tear tonight. And, okay, you're the Falcons. You finally you give up this break chance, and you're still working with the 6-point margin. Does anything change, or do you just send a lot of that same line back out and say, hey, that was, a small miss, and we do it again.
They're a good team. They're going to get their looks. They're going to get their scores. So that's something like, okay, it's not unusual. Just go right back to what we're doing.
And sure enough, Chen back out there for the Bay Area. But there we go. There's the mistake. There's
Those
the
are the
drop.
small things.
Drop from Erheim gives the disc back to Seattle. Are you going to start to see some nerves from the Bay Area if they start to give up these break chances? Disc still with Tempest. Lim in the backfield. Now to Sue, middle of the field. Sue, Whipfler. Sue. Seattle needs to take advantage of the drop. And Lim not quite able to dig out the throw from Sue. And Bay Area can take a breather because now they have another chance.
Those opportunities are fleeting. And that reset miscue should not happen at this level.
No, that's pretty routine, but not quite connecting for Seattle. Now the question is, like in the first half, will the Bay Area give the disc back to Seattle or not? In the first half, they did not. Racked up a pile of points because of it. Now can they continue and make it second time lucky?
Han Chen stirring the drink.
Chen going nearly every other to Pugh. To Hammer. Far sideline back to Pugh. Bay Area staying patient. Chen, angled pass, Hammer,
boom.
Goal. And another assist for Han Chen. Another score for the Bay Area Falcons. Makes it 15-8 in favor of the hometown team.
Outstanding. Really nice, calm. Look how smooth that is. Just so smooth.
And the Falcons player is just able to find windows of space all evening. Chen almost casually getting that disc from Pugh on the far sideline, and then just touchy angle pass to Hammer in, and 15-8 Bay Area lead.
Yeah, one of the things I would say to Tempest is, can you pressure the main handlers? Just try to take them out of the equation and see if the other 6 on the field can do something.
An interesting note to think about from last week. In the early part of the fourth quarter against Utah, the Bay Area held a 15-11 lead that they let slip to eventually go on to lose in overtime. Bit of a bigger margin this time, and as we heard from Vivian Chu at halftime, it's on their minds. You'd expect that Falcons aren't going to let up, and that throw that is behind rolling will give them another chance. Loop near sideline.
By the way, Jen, that was a nice interview with Vivian. It was nice that she came up here.
Always appreciate when players take a little bit of time out of their short halftime break to come chat with us. And appreciate the insight into the knowledge that, yeah, they're going to remember this that loss from last week and try not let it happen again. Just staying patient with it, stringing together passes, and then rolling another run-through block, at least the third of the game, at least. Rolling a defensive powerhouse with Seattle BFG in the club division, as well as with Tempest, as we come to see tonight. Injury. And that's Loop down. Looks to be holding her ankle. Hate to see that.
Yeah, looks more than a cramp. Could be a twist.
All right. While they check out Loop, we're gonna. Oh. Okay. Glad to see Loop getting some. Sam Loop getting some help off the field. So that's good to see. And Falcons will get a sub on. You hope that's not too bad Sam Loop, a solid contributor for the Bay Area, although we'll say, and maybe a slight silver lining, Bay Area's next game, not until the end of April at home against San Diego.
That's a good
So
point.
plenty of time to rest up and recover
Yeah,
for Sam Loop. So hopefully she's going to be all right.
He's at Salzman's in. Yeah. Loop is having a solid game. Tempest trying to get in flow.
Oh, huge layout block. Sharon Lynn coming through to deny Campana. And energy right back up for the Falcons.
Those take the steam out of any hope.
But just off the hands of Lynn on the near sideline gives this back to Seattle.
The clock right now only stops. I mean, it continues to go unless there's injury. There's a stop, but the clock runs, and anything that happens is just eating up precious time.
Yeah, clock will not stop during stoppages and calls until the last 2 minutes of the quarter, and that throw just too far for Seattle player to track down. And yeah, as you say, clock is ticking down, approaching halfway through this fourth quarter. If you're the Bay Area, you are just fine with this. Seattle will need time to make the comeback with the clock not stopping until those final couple of minutes, or unless there's a timeout, which maybe that was perfect timing from the Bay Area to call it right before that turnover. Then good call from the Falcons coaching staff to settle their team and allow them to reset with just over 6 minutes left in the fourth quarter.
Now that timeout went out. There was a turn, but the timeout can be called and nullifies the turn. And
as long as it's called before the turnover,
before,
to be clear.
Exactly. And as you mentioned, both teams can swap out entire sides, and the stall count resets to 0, or to 1, I should say.
And Falcons coaching staff may be thinking, hey, we haven't called a timeout in the second half. Let's take some time, settle people's nerves, just really be patient with it, and be ready to go again with the length of the field in front of them. We'll see if we have any particular lineup adjustments coming out of this timeout for the Bay Area. But I imagine part of this is, hey, we have the timeouts. Let's use them.
Yep.
Let's take a breather and get a sort of fresh set of folks out there, or at least a fresh set of breaths to get ready to attack the rest of the field.
Completely. It makes sense. And I think on some level, let's don't get caught in our red zone. In worst case scenario, boost it. But let's see if we can run a play to get it out of there and get into open waters.
And yeah, as the Falcons offense gets set, looks like Vivian Chu and Seattle continuing to try and put multiple people in front of the disc. Falcons mostly content to just throw around and through it.
We see a Z. They are playing zone. Tempest.
Imanishi finds the window. Chu, Imanishi. Back to Meaty Chang. Back to Imanishi. Just slowly chipping yards. Eliza Chang up to Saltzman. And patience now from the Falcons as it resets back to Chu, center of the field.
Calm reset. Frankly, I'm surprised Tempest hasn't gone to the zone earlier.
And run through block, just not on the same page. Chu and her intended target, I think that was Margaret Donahue. And instead of run through block from Seattle, we'll give them another chance. Cherry and Decker working on the far sideline. Inside throw to Baroma. And floated throw. And Liza Chang able to just get in front of Jezierski. Contested stall, though, before the throw. And looks like it will be a turnover at that spot.
No, Matt was looking for the hand pat. It was a stall? Good.
Stall call, turnover. Falcons with another opportunity as Chu goes over to the disc as we tick under 4.5 minutes left in the game. Imanishi near sideline. Midi Chang to Imanishi. Falcons plenty content to work on the near sideline onto that force side where the Tempest are trying to force them. Basically saying, hey, we'll take the free yards and the free back and forth if y'all aren't going to stop us. And then find the pockets to continue and move this across the field. Chu moving it all the way across to Vicky Chen.
Imanishi with the beautiful fakes. Calm.
Vivian Chu. Clear.
So the chisels, there's not so much with this, but we got it. Nope.
Imanishi not quite in. Nearly inside throw. Layout grab. Donahue again. And a little bit of kick spike for emphasis as the Bay Area looks well on their way to the first win of the season, up 16-8.
Imanishi was making beautiful moves. Very calm, adept handler. Donahue with the sick layout. That's 2. Bookends, 1 in each half.
Donahue just making sure of the goal with the layout, sliding on the turf. And with 3.5 minutes left, Lawrence, I think it's not quite curtains, but it's pretty much just about there for Seattle.
Yeah.
And the Bay Area their offense has looked good throughout a few miscues here and there, but it has been incredibly efficient.
Exactly. It's been incredibly efficient. That's what you like. Falcons have had their highlights, but they've been steady all the way through. Beautiful to watch. Nice flow, breaks, D's when you got them. The miscues have been minimal.
And Tempest offense has just got nothing going, and right on cue, just a terrible drop from Seattle gives the disc right back to the Bay Area in the short field. Sharon Lynn trying to find the reset option, does so. Munson available to avoid the stall call. Suji across to McQuaid. Reset to Munson.
Ace in space.
Wide
Boom.
open. Sharon Lynn not in yet. On the doorstep. Mankoff off the hands. Saved. Down by the observers.
Yeah, it looked like it bounced. Let's see.
Down by the observers. Sharon Lynn trying to find Julie Mankoff. Just off the hands, and yeah, it's a close one, Lawrence.
Yeah.
And Seattle gets another chance, but still length of the field in front of them, under 3 minutes to play. Spalding and Sue working in the backfield.
Nice
and big
layout.
bid. Kat Chung with another fantastic grab for Tempest. And throw initial out of reach of Sue. Sue putting it deep. But there's a trio of Falcons defenders there. And just a trip and a turnover in the short field. Again, time continues to tick. Approaching 2 minutes left as Spalding walks over to the disc to put it back into play for Seattle. Angled throw to Sue in for the goal. That is a Seattle score, bringing the score to 16-9 in the favor of the Bay Area.
That was an interesting point. Right on the doorstep. Just take that one errant throw, make it a little lower. It would have been a Falcons score.
And we were talking at halftime that in the second half, what would need to happen for Seattle to get back into the game is more of those mistakes from the Bay Area. We saw the drop earlier by Erheim. We have the trip here and the miss on Harris and Suji. But at this point, too little, too late, and not enough of those mistakes from the Bay Area to allow Seattle back into the game. And 16-9 lead, just over 2 minutes to play. What are your thoughts on what you've seen from the Falcons over the course of this game as they look set to notch their first win of the season?
Well, to your point, looking at how balanced the score sheet, the stat sheet is, that's what it continues. The balance, the confidence, they're able to impose their will against Tempest. And I'm very pleased. You take away with all these pluses. I know they're going to look at the video and find where they can improve, but this is a nice rebound from the Utah game.
As for Seattle, being under 10 points with under 2 minutes to play left in the game is not the kind of offensive performance we've come to see from Tempest. But falling on their 15 total goal performance against San Diego, you have to wonder if the Tempest offense is just not quite clicking so far as it was last year at times. In the last couple of seasons when they won back-to-back titles.
At some point, it's like looking at the Warriors here. At some point, the old guard gets older, and you've got to see if you can maintain your culture with new players. So we've got new players here trying to step into big shoes that the Tempest have established. And so there's going to be a learning curve, and there's plenty of season to figure it out.
And hammer to Chen, low throw.
Got it.
But saved up anyway.
Good.
By Erheim. Chen barely making it work. Was very worried that throw was going to be well too low for Erheim. But Erheim able to get hands underneath it. Chen with a quintet of assists by my count on the game. Hammer opening it up. And Chen thought it was too low. But just about able to get hands under it is Erheim.
Yep. Han Chen demonstrating that she can make the low catches and make those low throws so other people can have those highlights.
And it's 17-9, under a minute to play. All but over at this point. This will move the Falcons to 1-1 on the season, drop Seattle to 0-2. Let's talk big picture for a moment while we can, Lawrence. This wraps up the end of the cross-conference play. So every team in the Western Ultimate League, all 6 teams, has now played back-to-back games in these last 2 weeks and have played a cross-conference, Northwest playing Southwest and vice versa. And we're going to have a bye week in this upcoming week in the Western Ultimate League and then straight into conference play, which will be the remainder of the season. For championship weekend, looking ahead to June, the qualification process will be the top 2 teams from each conference will be making it. And while there are more conference games, these other conference games do still count to your overall record. And so Seattle will have their work cut out for them in the Northwest, starting at this 0-2 deficit. We'll be looking to try and win out against Utah and Colorado, while the Falcons rebound 1-1, fine place to be heading into Southwest Conference play in a couple of weeks.
Well, definitely the Falcons took care of home cooking. That's always good. I mean, you want to take advantage of when you're in front of fans and the energy. Tempest have some things to figure out, but they're not out of it.
Not out of it. Able to get another goal on the board. Sue, inside throw to Lanier for the score. And narrows the margin by 1, but still not going to be nearly enough for Seattle, down 17-10. Little floaty throw from reeled in by Sue and then tossed up by Sue to Lanier. 17-10. This one's all but over. Any last initial takeaways from this game? It really cannot emphasize enough. Impressive showing from the Bay Area. Yes, it's the same number of points that they scored last week against Utah, but just incredible effort all around, and especially defensively to, as of now, hold Tempest to a measly 10 points. Very impressive outing from the Bay Area. And again, as mentioned, they don't play their next game until week 6 of the season when they will host San Diego Super Bloom. So you have a whole month to prepare. Always a question of rust versus rest, but tons of time for the Falcons to prep for that next home game.
Well, they have time to gel more, and we didn't bring this up. There's 8 different teams that sort of make up this Falcons squad, and I want to give props to the coaching staff to be able to create this synergy with so many divergent styles and teams that come in. So big props to the coaching staff to work this magic and get everybody playing as one.
Yeah.
And to your point, rust, is that going to be good? I don't know. I think I would like to look at it positively. It's going to be like gumbo marinating in the refrigerator. It's just going to taste better. They have time to gel even more. And I'm really curious to see if that rest, I'm not going to be surprised you're going to become an even more exciting team.
Yeah, and yeah, to your point, coaching staff doing a really good job of bringing together these players from around the Bay Area ultimate club scene onto the pro scene for the Falcons. And you really thought that Chen had that for it, and it is ruled by the observers, not a stall. Chen appropriately with the final goal on the reception from Maru, and that will end it. Maru finding Chen in the corner, had to wait just a moment, but able to make it work. Maru with the assist, Chen with the goal. That is an 18-10 Bay Area Falcons win over Seattle Tempest. Incredible showing from the Bay Area, and now they'll have a month to rest up and appreciate it ahead of hosting the San Diego Super Bloom at the end of April.
I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be definitely another up-tempo game. Curious to see what Super Bloom shows up, and the Falcons are going to show up. But I think it's going to be a nice, a very entertaining show.
As for Seattle, their next game will be on the road in Week 4. Again, next week is a bye week. They will be playing on the road at Utah as conference play gets underway. We are about to wrap here. Some impressive plays all throughout this game. Lawrence, what were some of the standouts for you that we saw tonight?
Well, the layouts. Margot Donahue was all over the place making those sick grabs. Han Chen, handling her business all over the place, making catches, stirring the drink, solid play. The defense on the Falcons were great. They were able to impose their will and really establish the trend right off the bat. So those were the highlights there. I'm missing some players, but it was up and down. It was a really nice, comprehensive game, and it was exciting to see for the hometown and home cooking.
Yeah, I mean, I think overall I was, again, very impressed by the overall efficiency from the Falcons. And I think underrated, and we'll have to take another look. Again, this was shown on YouTube, so we can all go back and rewatch it. Going to be curious to see what defensive showing we did see from the Bay Area to limit Seattle to a mere 10 points. Because, yes, the Tempest had their mistakes, but also the Bay Area had to be doing something right in order to slow them down enough to hold them to merely 10 points.
And that's the crux of that observation. I was looking at how the defense shifted in the offense and scored, but looking at that, where were those turns created? Was there miscues, or was it just the defense was just creating those and forcing those small window throws? So yes, looking at that critically would be interesting to see.
All right, well, we're going to wrap it up here. Thank you for joining us from Oakland, California. It has been an 18-10 victory for the home team, Bay Area Falcons, over Seattle Tempest. Thank you for joining us. I've been John Weiner. He's been Lawrence McKendall. We'll catch you in a couple of weeks for more Western Ultimate League action as conference play starts up in a couple of weeks.
Let's go.